So, good day, everyone. So, at the beginning of this lesson recording, I will turn on my camera, but on the next slide, I'm gonna turn it off uh, to avoid uh, data or memory consumption. So, I'm gonna turn this off. Uh-huh. Paano ba siya i-off? Kaya here. Um, okay. Mathematics in Modern World. Module 3 or Lesson 3, Mathematics for Our World. Again, I am your instructor for the subject. I am Mary Joy Latuanes. And for the learning objective, so in this lecture, we will see how mathematics is used for different purposes, and we will focus on various roles in place, namely organization, production, and control. So our aim is to appreciate mathematics for our world, especially in the context of modern times. Mathematics has been humanity's companion for all of the history. Perhaps it started with farmers or farmers counting their animals in the farm, their cattle, the kings, sizing their armies. So also mathematics grow with the humanities, especially nowadays. We are already in advanced technologies, the AI technologies. Mathematics is everything from different kind of field of work, different kind. For example, even tricycle driver, store owner. No, so we are all counting every day. Mathematics is part of our day. Epidemiologists, chefs. As a student, yes, as a student, you always uh, compute your baon every day, your allowance. You always do budgeting every day. So for mathematics and organization, so it is used or deals with structuring, classifying, and optimizing resources. It is applied in business, science, education, and daily decision making. For scheduling, arranging timetables, exam schedules, and work shift. So as with project management, with creating a Gantt charts, transportation and logistics, optimizing delivery routes, social networks, communications, and relationship. Also, with the sets and classification, we're going to categorize an organization of data. So STEM, ABM, HUMS. So for senior high school students, they're being classified accordingly to organize the number of students and then create a Venn diagrams to visualize relationships. So later on, our next lesson in Module 4, we'll talk about Venn diagrams. So as well in logic and decision making, logic provides roles for systematic thinking. Truth tables, flowcharts, and conditional statements are tools for decision making. Also, as approving a loan based on income and credit history. So, graph theory. So, in the nodes, points, and edges as connections. So, airline routes, social media friend connections, delivery systems, and finding shortest paths and efficient organizations. So for example, this one is a network. It's a network, there is a node, so this one is the nodes. And this line or linkages are called as edges. So it would help, of course, everybody, specifically the computer scientist, mathematical modelers, and statistician, and to illustrate how the system are created and the relationship with one another. Okay. So this one is a simple network. Why? Which all the links are connecting to different nodes. So links connected to different nodes, right? Maximum of one link connecting to them as a pair of nodes that are being connected with two or more links. Which is non-simple. For example, this one, non-simple. Two nodes, two edges. And this one also also directed or undirected. So directed networks are which links are narrow instead of just one lines. One-way relationship, for example. This one directed to this, to this. Yeah. An example, this one is a Twitter or even Facebook page. One can follow one another, or but you cannot assure that the others follow also you if you follow them. One can follow another, but not necessarily the other way around. And mga fast Facebook pages, same example as like that. In mathematics or organization, so for example, here in the Game of Thrones networks, so this one, very thick line. So they have conducted a study that very thick line, meaning they keep on communicating or have many conversations. So this one is the mother of dragon, son, and this one. Very thin line indicate less conversation. Yeah. So and also with human disease. So human disease link to another diseases. Like for example, this colon cancer linked to another disease. So that is why if those who are already on stage 4 cancer already have many diseases. So not only one disease, because our system, our body is interconnected. We are a network of different kind of system, right? Digestive system, excretory system, nervous system, and so on. So if one system is broken, then the other system will be affected. So just like this one system, another system, so another diseases, and so on. So this one, I will discuss this case study in separate video. Okay, so just skip this. Next is coordinate plane. So in coordinate plane, I know you're familiar with coordinate plane. So in mathematics, the x and y plane, that is called the coordinate plane. So the history of coordinate plane is René Descartes. René Descartes, or in French, René Descartes, was known to be sickly, and when he was lying down in his bed, he saw a spider crawling on the tile window, square tiles, and then from then he's counting the location of the spider. 1, 2, 3, 4 squares. Then on the Y, or in the vertical, and in the horizontal, 5 squares. So that's where started XY coordinate plane. And that is called, based on his last name, Cartesian coordinate plane or system. The x-axis, course, the horizontal, and the y-axis, the vertical. And there's a point, we call it as XY point, or the coordinate point of a system. Okay, just like this one. So what's the relevance in our daily lives of the coordinate plane? In our daily lives, so that is why if you have a GPS, so the GPS location, there is a longitudinal and when you have a GPS locations, So yeah, your Earth location, exact location. There are some cell phones that has a GPS locations, the coordinate system, and also in statistic. So they're going to present their study in XY coordinate and find a relationship with this one, for example. And in Excel or in Google Docs spreadsheet. So this is x-axis and this is y-axis. So that is the application of those mathematical xy plane or coordinate plane in our daily lives. So matrices. So we have matrices arranged in numbers of arrays in rows and columns. So I believe you have matrices in your algebra. Kasi matrices is a topic in your algebra in your senior high. Okay. So this is a simple 2 by 2 matrices. 2 rows, 1, 2, and 2 columns. So yan, basic operations, the addition and subtraction of matrices, scalar multiplication, matrix multiplication, determinants, and inverse. So yan, of matrices. Uses of matrices, application in computer games, in economic and business, input-output models, inventory and accounting, market analysis, application in science and engineering, electrical circuits, chemical equations, physics, applications in data and technology, search engines, social networks, artificial intelligence, and machine learning rely on matrix algebra. This one is a worksheet for matrices. So I will discuss again this one in different video as your worksheet by group. Okay. So mathematics for predictions. So nowadays, there are a lot of predictions, weather predictions, climate predictions. So unlike before, that is why years ago, disaster are very worst because of lack of predictions. So nowadays, because of predictions, using mathematics, the uh, calamities are not that worst or that disaster enough to human lives as compared with years before where there is very less predictions. So for example, in the case of Yolanda, during Yolanda, very less predictions or nothing. The Pag-asa has no preparations or predictions at all. So since then, Filipinos learned a lot on the case of Yolanda storm or Typhoon Yolanda, Super Typhoon Yolanda. So nowadays, do we have a predictions already about rainfall, orange, yellow rainfall, and so on. So that is how mathematics evolve and the predictions. So, telling what future could be. So yeah, as I mentioned earlier already, represent a real world system and stock markets, yes, astronomy, astrophysics, and weather forecasting. So in stock market, maybe you're familiar with stock market or some we have friends with stock market. So they're going to predict if the stock market will be high or low. Yeah, if the market is low, it's better to buy. And if it's high, you're going to sold your stock. So that's how people in economics of stock market do predictions and invest their money to earn more, a higher price. Yeah. In astronomy and astrophysics, so for example, in the asteroids, so I know that it's very dangerous. So when the scientists predict that the asteroids is coming to Earth, yan, So this is catastrophic or destruction that causes in the extinction of dinosaurs, right? If you have watched the movie Ice Age 2, right? There is a asteroids, no? The story of asteroids of the dinosaurs and other animals there. So nowadays, to avoid asteroids going into the Earth, malayo pa lang sa Earth, ginagawa na ng paraan ng mga scientists or um, astronauts to avoid astronauts, those to avoid, in a way, the astronauts help avoid the asteroids, distract, and hit the Earth that could possibly, of course, cause death of thousands of people or individuals. Now, weather forecasting. So, in the Philippines, pag-asa. So, that is why meron tayong predictions, storm signal 1, 2, 3, and 4. We can predict because of predictions, the mathematical modeling on the movement of the wind direction, which could help us prepare for the incoming typhoons and strong winds. Yeah, and as mentioned earlier, the color of the rainfall. If this is a signal number, so those people that might be affected or need to evacuate. There is a possible storm surge. So those people that live nearby the ocean or nearby the beach or body of water need to evacuate. So that is how mathematics for production help us to save lives and millions of crops and property. So this one, separate discussion of the cases. So mathematics for control. So the control theory. So what are being controlled? So for the farmers, pests are controlled, need to be controlled, right? Because of the disaster, the farmers nalulugi because of the pest populations. You need to decrease the pest populations or even kill those pests to increase the income of the farmers. So that's why the control theory is a branch of mathematics that deals with the quantitative modeling of a control that is applied in a system to achieve desired results. The answer, it is a modeling. Modeling of mathematics. You know what is modeling of mathematics? That is programming plus mathematics. So that is what it means by modeling. Yes, you're going to plan ahead of time. You're going to check in what way you can control the disaster, for example, for a pest may bring. So how can you control the growth of pests for the farmers, to help for the farmers, for example, to regulate, optimize, and manage. So it is also used in engineering, business, economics, and even in our everyday decision making. So for example, in the controlling traffic flow. So how to control traffic flow? So that is why before a bridge is constructed, before a footbridge, a road is constructed, there is a engineering study to control traffic flow. So, yeah, so for example, in the budgeting, as a student, you're going to control your expenses. So you're going to compute in a day, how much should I spend? Pamasahe, food, school expenses like photocopy and other expenses. You need to control your budget because you are aiming for something. You have a goal for something good in the future. So this is an example of mathematics control. as well as with temperature and air conditioning. You're going to regulate the temperature so that you will comfortably can sleep and so on. For example, we have a desired outcome. So yan, example of mathematics for control, variables and parameters, functions in control. Yan. Profit equals to revenue minus cost, equations and inequalities, matrices and control, transportation, planning, allocation, feedback mechanisms. So what are the negative feedback? Positive feedback. Yeah, so mathematics control, business and management, budget control, as mentioned earlier, as a student, as part of your daily lives. You're going to do budget your money, scheduling and workforce, engineering and technology, for robotics and automations and chemical processes, for economics, inflations, interest rates, equilibrium models in our everyday life as personal budgeting, diet control, right? You are aiming to be healthy. You're aiming to have a healthy lifestyle. You need to control your food intake, your calorie intake, and energy use, as well as with time management. So this one, a pest in sugarcane, a sugarcane borer. So you need to control the growth of pests for you to have a high harvest, higher yield. So this one is pollution. So you need to regulate pollution control. So yan, so you need to regulate, you need to determine volume of waste generated and how to control them. Okay? And this one, fake news or in our daily lives, no, yung mga kapitbahay, chismis. So that is, how can you control those? Yan, fake news. So in Meta has a mechanism, Meta Facebook. So they have their mathematical mechanism on how they can control fake news. For example, if keep on posting in a day, your account will be suspended. There is a limited number of days, number of posts, same post you can do, or else Meta will block your account. Yeah. Case analysis. I will have a separate video on this as well as with the group activity. Okay, that's the end of our lesson and the recording. So recording number 2 will be about your worksheet. Okay, bye. Thank you.